The Masterclass series is graciously funded by the National Endowment for the Arts. Art Works. In an age where college funding is limited, education resources are questionable, and arts programs are being cut, the Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, better known as CAAPA, has stepped up to the plate. Inspired by CAAPA as part of its commitment in supporting classical music education and performance artists throughout the United States and abroad, we offer the Masterclass series. CAAPA marries serious music students with acclaimed music masters of color, targeting historically Black colleges and universities, or HBCUs, high school performing arts schools, and music conservatories, including the universities of Alabama State, Clark Atlanta, Fisk, Hampton, Howard, Lane College, Morgan State, North Carolina Central, Spelman College, Virginia State, and Xavier University of Louisiana. Since its launching in 2014, the Masterclass series helps students work on technique, improve stage presence, fine-tune performances, and build self-confidence. While emphasis is placed on classical music students to participate in the Masterclass series, audiences and faculty members are also encouraged to attend the free-to-the-public sessions. An exciting and fresh way to help CAAPA bring color to the classics. The Coalition for African Americans in the Performing Arts, in partnership with Alabama A&M University, presents the Masterclass series, the premier Black classical music masterclass series. Possessing a radiant voice of beauty, power, nuance, and musicality, as well as a demanding stage presence, Lisa Gwyn Daltirus has performed internationally for opera houses, symphonies, and other arts organizations. In her professional operatic debut as Tosca, the New York Times said, "Imperious, her eyes ablaze, the very image of Tosca. She exuded an intangible electricity, that charge that comes across to the audience when something is really happening on stage." Her many roles include the title role Aida, Leonora in Il Trovatore, Serena and Bess in Porgy and Bess, Santuzza in Cavalleria Rusticana, Netta in Pagliacci, and Brunhilde in Götterdämmerung. The Soprano's successes include many national and regional opera companies, including the Metropolitan, Seattle, Washington National, and the Opera Company of Philadelphia. An active soloist with orchestra and in concert, Ms. Gwyn Daltirus has performed with the Philadelphia Orchestra, the Aspen Music Festival, and the American Spiritual Ensemble, just to name a few. Ms. Gwyn Daltirus has received awards and recognition from the Metropolitan Opera National Council Auditions, the Liederkranz International Vocal Competition, and the New York Vocal Artists Competition. She is also a grantee of the Singers Development Fund in New York City and the William Matthews Sullivan Foundation. Facilitating today's masterclass is soprano Lisa Gwyn Daltirus. Before we meet the music master, I just would like to say hello to everyone and welcome to CAAPA's virtual masterclass series. My name is Angela Renée Simpson. I am the program director of the series and your host. I would like to thank Alabama A&M University and its music department for agreeing to partner with us today in bringing color to the classics. To the Alabama A&M music students and faculty who are observing via Zoom, we will have a short question and answer session after Ms. Gwyn Daltirus finishes working with Ms. Wells. Please feel free to use the chat button for any questions you may have. And those who are watching on Facebook Live, please post your questions in the comments. Now, without further ado, I bring to you our music master, soprano Lisa Gwyn Daltirus, followed by Alabama A&M Junior soprano, Ms. Tabitha Moore. Hello, Ms. Daltirus, how are you?
Good evening, how are you? I'm doing great. And just so excited to hear these wonderful artists today.
I am too. If we can have Ms. Moore on, camera on. Wonderful. All right, I will leave you to it.
Thank you.
And I will give you a 5-minute warning.
Thank you so much. Okay. Whenever you're ready.
I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Tabitha Moore. I am a junior at Alabama A&M University. And today I will be singing O mio babbino by Puccini from Schicchi.
Okay.
My
Brava. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Great. So why don't we bring our audience up to speed? Can you give us a little background on this song? Why are you singing it? Who are you singing it to?
I'm singing this because I do love this song very much, and the character, my mistake. The character is about a daughter begging her father to for his blessing, basically. So she's asking her father for blessing because she wants to marry a man that she loves very dear to herself, and she's begging the father. And at the end, the father does say yes, but we don't hear his answer.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you if you could just project your voice a little bit more when you're speaking, just so, because it's a little bit soft, so I'm not hearing you as clearly, right? Because this is something I tell my students all the time, that even your speaking voice, it's the same voice, right? So we're going to project it the same way we would with singing, right? Because I want to hear every wonderful thing you have to say. So my question for you is, you say it's she's begging her father for a man she wants to marry. Who's the man? Is it someone you already know, or is it someone you've seen at a distance?
It's someone that she already knew.
Okay, and what's his name?
His name is, if I'm saying it correctly, Ruccio.
Renuccio. Can you say that? Right, Renuccio, right. So my the point I'm getting at is for, in terms of intention, of why are you singing the words and even the melody that you're singing? What is it informing in you? And the idea is that you're begging your dad, but it's not a light beg, right? It's like, please, 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 daddy. Okay, if you don't give it to me, what is she gonna do if her father doesn't say yes?
She's gonna throw herself in the river, basically.
Say it one more time.
She's gonna throw herself in the river.
Right, she's gonna go up to a very well-known bridge. What's the name of the bridge?
The bridge is the Vecchio.
Ponte Vecchio, right. And she's gonna throw herself. I mean, how dramatic is that? Does that sound like almost like a temper tantrum?
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. So even though this music is so, lullaby-ish and sweeping, but that adds right to the drama. So what I'd like you to do is start it again with all of that intention. And I'm going to ask you to, I don't know if we're mirroring each other or the other way, whatever hand was holding your tummy area, I want you to release that hand. Okay, right. Because I want you to feel free. I want you to be like, you're begging your parent, if you don't buy me that 7 Series BMW when I graduate, you know what I mean? Like, I'm serious. I want you to get there. Okay. And let's start with that. Okay, good. So let me stop you right there. So even just that, singing with more intention, it really brought the presence of your voice much more forward because we had more energy in the sound. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
You don't have to be polite. You don't have to say, if you don't agree with me, tell me you don't, and we'll find another way to discover it. Okay. But yes, So that gave me much more attention. Now we do have to be careful about pronunciation, right? Everybody in their native language is very particular about how you say their language. So we have lots of really wonderful open vowels here, right from the beginning, right? O, mio, babbino, caro, right? All that, oh. So we want to make them very pure to the language, okay? And not sort of, and you may not even be aware of this, so I bringing it to your attention. There's a little bit of a shadow vowel that's kind of happening. It's actually more specifically called a diphthong, but we don't need to get into that much. I don't know if you've heard it, so that doesn't sound, you've heard of a diphthong, right? So it's like you read one letter, but you're hearing two sounds, right? So we don't want the O to be O, right? And then when you're going, mi piace bello, guardare in Porta Rossa. It's, I think, where did I hear it? I think it was pietà, but you haven't said that again yet. But what we have to do is make sure that every single vowel sound is a true vowel sound and you don't add another sound to it. Gotcha. Does that make sense? Yeah. So actually what I'd like you to do just a little bit is to speak it. Now speak it as if you were giving a recitation, right? So, oh mio babbino caro, mi piace bello. Okay. And if you notice, I was doubling my consonants. In Italian, when you see that written in the word, you got to spend a little extra time on that consonant. Okay, so do me a favor and just speak a little bit of the first verse, but with attention and making sure that those vowels are open and they're steady. Okay.
Oh mio babbino caro, mi piace bello.
Okay, so the inflection is piace. That's the word, right? So do you know what piace means?
It means
huh? So when we say mi piace, it's like at my pleasure. It's like, you know, to please me, right? E bello. Who are you speaking about? Who or what is bello?
The bello would be I wouldn't say mysterious guy because we already know.
I can't hear you, sweetie. Speak up a little.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's better.
Bello would be the not mysterious guy, but the man that the girl is talking about.
The one that you've got the hots for. Just go for it, honey. Say it. The one that you want, right? Regardless of who anybody says, like, this is my man. Let's just get real about it, you know? Now be careful because the word bello is spelled Bello. So it's not bello, because what happens is in other languages, if you don't pronounce it correctly, it can mean another word, and it may not be a good word. Okay, so I want you to say bello and give me a little more of the L. Do that for me.
Bello.
Right, and just be careful with the L, that it is very tip of the tongue, like behind your teeth, because if we get too much tongue in there, then you'll block your sound. Okay, so let's try this again. Same intention. Let's try remembering, right, that we're singing through very pure vowels. We're not making sort of those diphthong sounds. And the last thing, one other thing before you start, I'd like you to think about is that A flat. What's in your thoughts about that high A flat?
I don't think I have any thoughts.
Does it scare you? Are you like, oh my God, here it comes?
Yes.
See, that's why I'm asking. Okay. But So now what will happen is, I mean, there's things we can talk about technically, but I'm sure you're working that out with your teacher. But let's just talk about intention and how intention can help us, right? It's part of the word. You're starting lower on the be and going to the low, but it's the same word. Right. Okay, so make sure that you're thinking of it in context, right? You're not going like, this is the low note and that's the high note, right? You didn't do that bad. But do you understand what I'm saying? And then think about the word. What's the word mean?
Oh, you're asking me what is the word?
Yes.
It's kind of a plea.
Well, bello itself means what? He's beautiful. He's you know, he's my beautiful man. He's everything to me. He's the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen, right? Bello. So when you're thinking about that in context, even if you're floating up to that high note, but it's like a caress. It's like as if you were melting into his arms again, right? Do you think?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so with those things, with those intentions, let's see where you go from there. Let's start again. Okay, gotta stop you. The first reason I stopped you is because you breathed in the middle of a word. Did you realize that? Ah, right. So that's sort of the work that we have to do as well, under making sure that we understand each word individually as well, right? So the word you were saying was ese lamasi, right? Indarno. Sorry, I'm looking at the music as well too, just to make sure I say the right thing. So you can't breathe in between masi. It's one lamasi. Can you say that? Lamas. Right. Now, of course, you're going up to high A flat, so we're not going to want to close down on that S immediately. You want to travel on the open vowel, right? Ese lamasi indarno. Can you say that? Right. Now, I want to encourage you as well to do less with your jaw. You're doing, and I know it's because you want to pronounce well and you want to give diction, but at this point, I would say relax more. There's a lot of happening in your jaw, which actually can create tensions to our throat and our vocal, what am I trying to say? Larynx, your voice box, and create a little tension, right? So we want to make sure that we do have a release there. And so even when you say eselamasi, not eselama, you know what I mean? I'm just giving you an example. It wasn't that bad, trust me. But that's just an example. But we want to make it flow, right? It's like you were spreading peanut butter on bread or something that you were massaging that was soft, right? Eselamasi. So you say
eselamasi.
Right, exactly. More to that. Okay, that will actually make you sing it better too, easier. Okay, because you're traveling on that ah sound, which is nice, right? Travel on the ah, and then at the last minute, you bring in that SI. So I spent a lot of time on that word. There was another thing. Oh, intention of words. So what is l'anello?
I believe Vanello.
Do you remember the whole line of what you said up to that word? You say accamperar l'anello.
This would be after she tells her father that she has the ring.
I can barely hear you, sweetie. No, it is the ring. Okay. You want to go and buy l'anello. Okay. So again, be careful of your double consonants. We need them. But the thing that we have to be careful, being Americans, we tend to be in our jaw a lot. When we speaking American English, we're very chewy in our jaws. So we have to think more loose in terms of the jaw situation, more forward as far as the diction being against your teeth and going forward. Okay. So that, and then what I said before about the open vowel, so that your voice is traveling on the vowel as long as it can be on the vowel in the word and in the context of the rhythm. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so can we start right there from accamperar l'anello? Oh, one last thing. When you said CC, that's so are you familiar with CC Winans? You don't know CC Winans? She's a gospel singer. BB and CC Winans? No? That's okay. You don't have to know. Just thought you might. Okay. So my point is that you said CC as if it was somebody's name. Right? But in the music, what is it saying?
Yes, yes.
I can't hear you.
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. But what does she do? Is she throwing not quite a tantrum, but isn't she pouring it on thick? Her daddy? Isn't she pouring it on thick, like going hard at her dad, right? So those CC, even as quick as they are, they have to have very intention. It's like, yes, yes, right? Can you just do that for me? Just say yes, yes, like that.
Yes, yes.
Nah, I don't believe you.
Yes,
Convince me. Convince me that you want me to say to approve. Convince me.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
5 minutes, Miss Gwyn Daltirus, 5 minutes.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay. So that's the way I want you to think about saying CC, right? Because it's not somebody's name. It's not CC. Okay. But it's CC. Did you see the intention? It's different. The first one was like, yes, yes, like that. Okay. All right. Let's start from there and see if we can get a little further. Okay.
Where we started?
Again, where are we starting? Just
From accamperar l'anello. Relax your hand. Okay, stop. I gotta stop you. Why did I stop you? Do you know why?
breath.
Say it again.
I took a breath.
You took a breath between a word. It's not just that you took a breath, you can breathe, right? But it's ponte. Ponte vecchio, right? Is what is the ponte vecchio?
That she was gonna throw herself over the river, in the river.
Right, exactly. It's the place that she's talking about. And even leading into it, when she's saying André sul ponte vecchio, right? I'm going to go there, right? And it's with the intention that I'm going to go there. Nobody's going to stop me if you don't say, yes, I'm going, right? Like she's almost like she's already ready to walk. Okay. So I need to feel all of that. Okay. Now, when you take your breath, are you thinking about the beginning of the line or the end of the line?
I would say the end of the line.
That sounds like you said the right answer. Yeah, exactly. When we take in a breath, we have to think about where we're going. How long does that breath need to last so that we don't catch breaths in between words, right? So when we're doing André sul ponte vecchio, can you say it like that?
Un ponte vecchio.
Right. So now you can feel how it seamlessly connects together and how the energy has to keep flowing forward to the end of the phrase. And then what it can help your mind do and your body do is to manage your breath as you're going. Do you see what I mean? So that you're careful to leave enough for the end and not have to catch in between. Does that make sense? Can you start from there? It's on an F. André sul ponte vecchio, ma per buttarmi in anno. Okay, hold it a second. So when, I don't know if it's a transmission thing, but I feel like I heard something extra in your ma. And it's just two letters, right? M and A. And it's a very open ah, as opposed to R, which is elongated and it's a little swallowed, right? So we want to brighten up that vowel a little bit, okay? So ma per buttar. There's two T's there, so make sure you take advantage of both of them. Can you just say that? Ma per buttar.
Ma per buttar.
Mm-hmm. So again, going to the pure vowel, make it completely an ah. Can you just say ah?
Ah.
Okay, so yeah, we don't want to manipulate that vowel. So that was good. Let's start. Can we start from the same place and just take your time to really expand your lungs and get in your lower support before you utter that first note. Okay, so that you're really in command of the note and it's not sort of catching you. Okay. So yeah, André sul ponte vecchio. Good breath.
Oh.
I was just giving you a hint. Sorry. Okay, so check your word. I heard it the first time and I was going to let it go, but I want to see if you do it again. That's not the right word. The word is vorrei. V-O-R-R-E-I. Vorrei.
I'm sorry, Ms. Gwyn Daltirus, that's time.
Good work, hon. Very good work. But yeah, I heard the improvement. So keep going in that direction, okay? And make sure that you're singing pure vowels. You get a good breath and support under it so that you can do the entire line, okay? And yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Okay.
Great. Next, we'll have Alabama A&M Junior soprano, Miss Davonna Wells. Good
Good evening. My name is Davonna Wells, and I am a junior. And today I will be singing Vieni, tardar from The Marriage of Figaro by Mozart.
Wonderful.
Giunse al fine il momento che godrò senza affanno il braccio all'idol mio. Timidi cuori, uscite dal mio petto, a turbor non vedete il mio diletto. Oh, come par che l'amoroso fuoco, l'amenità del loco, la terra e il ciel risponda. Come la notte i forti miei seconda. Vieni, non tarda, oh gioia bella. Vieni, oh mio amore, per poter t'appella, finché non spende in ciel l'uterna face. Finché l'aria ancor brune l'uno tace. Chi mormor uscir che scherza l'ora, che cor dolce sussurra il cor risara. Chi regna in lui fiorenti all'alber fresca. Ai piaceri d'amor tutto e desca. Vieni, ben mio, tra questi pianti ascosi. Schivo la fronte in
Brava. Thank you. Thank you so much. So tell the audience, tell me, tell us what the character is, what is the intention of the song, and anything of the background of the song that you can tell us.
So I'm singing the character Susanna, and I'm singing the character Susanna, and in this scene, she is in the garden. Her and the countess are in the process of trying to catch the count. And Figaro sees Susanna in the garden, and Figaro thinks that Susanna isn't being faithful to him. So since Susanna thinks that Figaro doesn't trust her, she, in the process of trying to catch the count, she's singing to kind of tease Figaro and make him think that she's singing this song, proclaiming her love for the count when she's really singing it to Figaro.
Okay, so tell me again what you said about the count. I kind of missed a little bit of that.
They're in the process of trying to catch the count because there's a rule where that he has to sleep with the maidens before they get married. So they're trying to catch the count.
Okay, so who's they?
The countess and Susanna.
Okay, who is the countess to Susanna?
The countess is like the person who oversees Susanna.
Are they on the same level class-wise? Right, exactly. So there's an impersonation going on, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the other question I'm going to ask you is, you talked about Figaro extensively. So is Figaro in this aria, is he visible to her?
Yes, ma'am.
Huh?
He's like off to the side, and Susanna knows that he's there, but he doesn't know that she knows that he's there.
Exactly. He doesn't know that she knows, right? So, so I say all of this to get more of the intention into what you're saying, right? Because it's a ruse. I know that might be an older word, but it's a scheme, right? They're doing a little trick, right? A trick for the count, but also Susanna knows, as you said, that Figaro's listening off to the side. He doesn't know that she knows, but what she's saying is intended for his ears. Would you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's go back to the recit then. Let's talk about the intention of what you're saying. So in just the first phrase of the recit, what is it that you're saying?
She's saying that the moment has arrived for her to like greet her lover.
To what, honey?
To greet her lover, which is
to greet her lover, right? Okay, so what kind of energy would that be? How would you feel if, like, oh, well, how are you going to feel on when it's graduation day and you wake up in the morning and you're finally like, oh, it's here, right? All this hard work, all these years, oh my God, it's here, right? Do you agree?
Yes, ma'am.
You would have that energy, right? So I want to sort of feel that in what you're saying, right? When you say, giunse il fin il momento, so the moment has arrived, but it's not a big thing because she's still a lady, right? And we're still talking about the joke, but I need to feel that energy in what you're saying, right? I would also encourage you with the recit to be a little more conversational. Right now, it sounds almost like the aria. Okay, and I know the way that the rhythm is printed and everything, you know, we're trying to be true to the beat counts and all of these things, but a recit is made to fill in more of the storyline, and it is more conversational. It can be fast, but in this situation, it's not such a fast recit. Why is it not fast? Who is she impersonating?
Oh, she's impersonating the countess.
Right. So if we look at the story as a whole, Susanna being you know, being, what is the word I want? Not a lady in waiting, but being someone that's under the countess, right? Sort of serves her in a way, or is, you know, at her side. She speaks a certain way throughout the show, right? But now when she's doing an impersonation, we have to sound like the person we're impersonating, right? So that's why this is aggressive, but it's a little more slower, maybe in tempo, but it still has to have a rhythm of explaining something. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's just start from there. So we get you singing some more and me less talking. Okay, but think about that. And I would, so this is always a debatable thing about this. Let the chord that he plays before you come in, let that clear a second before you start, so that I can really see the intention in your thought. Okay?
Giunse a fine momento che godrò senza affanno il braccio allido mio.
Ah, my goodness, my darling, that was light and day. Could you feel the difference? I mean, it was so convincing. I was like, oh my gosh, what's about to happen here? Like, I want to hear this, right? That's definitely the direction you want to go in. Now tell me about, you kind of did it, but I think it could be enunciated more in the braccio. What's braccio mean?
Arm.
More specifically, a hug, right? You want them to embrace you, right? That's what you're thinking about, right? That, and she even goes as far as to call him an idol. My idol, right? I can't wait for your embrace. Yeah. So you kind of did that with your arms a little bit, but let's do it more in the diction. Let's use the Italian, right? Again, like I was telling the other young lady about the double consonants, right? So we have two C's in there. Braccio, right? Even though you don't have that long to say it, but if you're thinking about it, it's going to come out that way. Okay, so I want you to also consider the intro of what the accompaniment, which would be orchestra clearly, but now is your accompanist on the piano. Think about the intention of what he's playing to lead you into what you're about to say. Can you just play that intro for me, so she can just hear what it sounds like? Oh! So that's almost like where are you going? You're going into a garden, right? And you're kind of sneaking in the dead of night. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
I should be asking you that, not telling you. But anyway, but that's what he's giving you. So take the energy from that. Okay? So let's start again and let's go forward. Excitement, excitement. Feel it.
Giunse a fine momento che godrò senza affanno il braccio allido mio.
Okay, just keep going. Still excited. Same music.
Uscite dal mio petto, a turbor non venite mio diletto.
Okay, stop. Now, what are you saying? Timide. What's that mean?
Like timid, shy.
Well, it's not just that in a soft way, right? It's kind of, it's speaking to anxiety, basically, from an intention standpoint, right? That anything that would stop me, anything that's making me afraid, you go away. Get out of my way. I'm not going to entertain that. So wouldn't that be a little more forceful? Yeah, because yours, while it's beautiful, is too beautiful. Okay, let me understand what you're saying, right? You're saying, get away from me, you anxieties. Get out of my chest. I have to. I'm doing this. Okay, so I want to feel that. Now, the other thing I'm going to see, let's play around and see if you can do this and still feel comfortable. I see your lips curling in a lot when you're saying, oh, you'll come like that a lot. See if you can just let them be loose, right? Can you just say, dal mio petto, where you don't go petto, where we don't bring them in? Can you try that?
Dal mio petto.
No, and so that's another thing that I had said to the other young lady, is that in Italian, you have to be really sure about the openness of the vowels and the purity of the vowel. So I actually heard a diphthong. I heard oh, right? But in Italian, petto, petto. It doesn't do the oo at the end. And that was my concern with the lips being curled in. Do you understand what I mean? Okay. So when you say dal mio petto, and I stop, it's almost like you bring it to a halt before you want to go to that extra vowel that's really not there. Okay, so can you say that again?
Dal mio petto.
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 Aha. Okay, petto. And then don't go to the oo sound. Petto.
Petto.
Aha, that one. Okay, and that you will need to spend some time incorporating that into other O's that are in the other words, because I'm seeing a little bit too much curling in of the lips. And another reason why it's a concern is because when you take that muscle and curl it in, you're now jutting your chin forward, and you're also creating all of this muscle tension. And we want it to be like that, so the voice travels out, not that in any way it's blocked. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so now let's do just a little bit of the lead into the timide, and I really want to feel that, like you're telling those, bad, evil thoughts, those scares, like, I'm not gonna be afraid. Okay? Better. Keep doing. Okay, before you go forward, sorry. Okay, so when you get there and you're saying, "Oh, come parte," I'm getting tongue-tied. Amoroso foco. What's foco? It's fire. Okay, so you're saying your love, amoroso foco. Doesn't that sound pretty sensual? Yeah, right? And we know she's saying this because someone else is listening. Right? Because when you listen to this and you hear how low that part goes down to, right? That's lower than where you were. But it's so that you can smolder it. Right? So now let's try from that o come par from there, and let's see if we can get some of that intention and keep the voice going forward. Don't let it sort of fall back into your throat, as if your voice was sitting here and you're directing everything that way, as if Figaro's right in front of you. You're directing it at it. Okay? Okay. Keep going. Okay, I'm gonna stop you real quick. Can you spell terra?
5
Spell it.
minutes, Miss Gwyn
Oh,
Daltirus.
no,
5
no,
minutes.
no, not possible. Okay, my point is there's a double consonant, so it needs to be rolled, right? So terra. That was too much. But do you understand what I'm saying? So can you say terra? Right, you gotta work on that double R. No, not always an easy thing. Okay, so I'll keep going. I won't belabor that. So let's get into the devieni non tardar, right? So what are you saying? Aha. You're saying, right? What's vieni? Come, right? Come and don't be late. Tardar, right? So even though it's cute, that sounds like so sweet, right? But it's part of, I think, part of the trick, right? You're saying very intentional, strong things, but yet it's under the cover of sweetness and ladylikeness. Okay? So feel that. Feel that when you get into that, right? And you're saying, oh, gioia. What's gioia?
Joy, happiness, joy.
Right. Oh, gioia bella, right? Bella is beautiful, right? Yeah. And this is, waiting on the count, but singing to Figaro. You're trying to seduce him, okay? All right, let's get into this. Yes. Oh, you can keep going. I was just agreeing. Keep going. If you want to start from the Devine so you can get your roll again, that's fine. Okay, let me stop you there a little bit, okay? So now I want you to take your arms, right? And I want you to do a little bit of a sway because I want you to release this and really get into the groove of it, right? Right? I'm sorry, don't have the words memorized. But do you understand what I'm asking you for? Okay, so do that. Just the measure before. We don't need the whole introduction, okay? But I want you to get into the swing of it. careful. One thing, the vienio, nyo, not neo, okay? Because I know it's two vowel sounds on one note, but the elision is more of a nyo, right? Vieni, ove, but veniove. Do you see what I mean? Instead of ni-o. Okay, so can we start right from there? Now,
Miss Gwyn Daltirus, that's time.
no. Okay, good work. Do you kind of get where I want you to go with it? Yeah. So let yourself release into it. Let yourself be more intentional about the words. So definitely make sure you go and translate each word and you really understand it, because this is also poetic to a pretty hot feeling. I mean, let's just be real. Okay. She's really delivering this for Figaro, even though she's playing a trick on someone else. Okay. So really make sure you understand the intention of everything you're doing. And then just be careful about too much curling in the lips. Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Wells. Thank you so much. All right. Now comes the question and answer part of our show. I don't think we have any questions on Facebook, so I will post some questions to you.
Okay.
I'm noticing through the masterclass that you're talking about diction and language and translation. Can you talk about how important that is?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, you're telling the story, right? So we need to understand the story.
Mm-hmm.
Also, when you're talking about singing in another language, this is Italian, but whatever it is, French, German,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And hopefully in the career, perhaps you might actually go and sing in those countries.
Yes.
To those native speakers.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. And as I think I had alluded to before, everybody's pretty particular about their language.
Mm-hmm,
yes.
Mm-hmm,
so
mm-hmm.
we have to be very careful to make sure that we are pronouncing it as best we can as they do.
Mm-hmm.
And also what's interesting in that is that the composer wrote the music based on the meter of the word, usually. Absolutely. And so that will help, right? There's always this discussion, which one came first, the words and the music, right? So we could debate that all night. Mm-hmm. But do understand that the reason why he would choose a certain note or rhythm pattern is based on the way you're saying it. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then for me, I teach a lot of my students that the diction needs to be very frontal, very dental, if it's unless it's not in the word itself. Yes. But the idea is that you're taking your voice and your voice is following the diction. So it's allowed to go forward as opposed to being contained in your mouth, where we wouldn't understand it.
Right. Do you suggest that students who are who are voice majors, that they take a language as opposed? We all have to take diction as a vocal performance, undergrad or graduate. But would you suggest that they actually go out and learn the language?
I would suggest if you're able to, yes, I would suggest it. Now, can I speak fluent Italian? No. Not even what I'm not.
Right. Neither can I. Right.
Okay. But I definitely take the time to translate everything and to make sure I do the IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabet. So it gives you all the proper sounds.
Right.
But to be able to speak it conversationally puts another layer on top of your delivery and your performance. And especially also because a lot of this is poetic, it's idiomatic, right? So it may not, if you go to translate it, it may not translate exactly correctly. It might not really make sense in a translation. So if you really do know the language, if you can speak it a little bit conversationally, you're going to be that much more ahead.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm going to ask you this. I've been asking this question of all the music masters. What is it that you know now that you wish you would have known while you were still in school?
Wow, that's interesting. Well, let's just go with first thought, right?
Mhm.
It really had to do with pursuing the career.
Mhm.
I really wish I understood or was encouraged or taught more. I don't know how you want to put it, but to network more,
Mhm.
to make sure that I was, engaging conversation with anybody within the artistic environment,
Mhm.
so that you're more abreast of what possibilities are
Mhm.
there for you,
Mhm.
what you can then market yourself for. Even in conversations with people, they'll remember you, even if it's 2 years down the road,
Yes.
because you've created more of a networking environment and relationship, I think, is more of
Mhm.
what I want to say.
Mhm.
I think that is something from a business career
Mhm.
pursuit type standpoint that I wish I knew more
Okay, that's a great answer. That's a great answer.
of.
Okay, well, since we had two female students today, can we talk about the challenges or not? Well, it could be a challenge, and it may in your experience, it may not have been a challenge of being in this career and being a mother.
Ha ha ha. Well, it was a challenge, yes. And I
Mhm.
have two children. I have a daughter and a son, and I have to say they're not children anymore. Anyway,
Right.
but at the time, in the beginning phases, yes, they were school aged.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, that is a consideration that I know a lot of people juggle with, and a lot of people have asked me, like, how?
Mhm.
And it's having a lot of home support,
Mhm.
people that will jump in for you when you have to go.
Yeah.
And then I was very, very, very diligent about anytime they could come with me, they
Mhm.
did. I
Mm.
either took them or I
Mhm.
flew them to me.
Mhm.
I am proud to say that even in two instances, one in Aida and one in Bohem, they were actually supers.
Oh,
They put a
wow.
costume on them and put them on the stage.
Nice. Not too many kids get that opportunity to get that
Right.
experience. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So, you just try to make it work.
Mhm.
People say, "Oh, I'm going to wait till I get to such and so level." I just don't believe there's any good time to wait.
Right,
If that's your, goal.
right, right.
You just need to go with it and
Mhm.
then sort of figure it out intelligently,
Mhm.
but you will figure it out, I
Yes.
think is what I'm trying to say,
Mhm.
as you go. And if you have a wonderful support system at home
Mhm.
that can, take up the slack while you're away,
Mhm.
and in many careers, so if I traveled 6 months out of the year, I'm just giving a number,
Mhm.
right? But they weren't like back 6 months,
Right.
right? There were
Mhm.
times in between where
Mhm.
I was just home. I was
Right.
just a stay-at-home mama.
Right. Right.
Learning new music, albeit
Mhm.
or whatever, but
Mhm.
I was home. So
Mhm.
you get that kind of ebb and flow and balance, and you just have to find out how it works for you.
Yeah, yeah. Did
Yeah.
did you did you intend to be an opera singer? Was opera your first choice?
That's an interesting question.
Mhm.
So when I was considering performing arts, I was actually more of a straight theater, and I was a dancer. I
Mm.
could sing, grew up
Yeah.
in church. I could
Mhm.
sing, but it
Mhm.
wasn't my focus. But I
Ah.
got this opportunity in high school to kind of sing for a bit of a, event, let's just
Mhm.
say. And it just kind of hit me that I could marry the two together. The
Mhm.
acting, dancing and singing, but
Mhm.
I clearly knew that I had a certain kind of voice. It wasn't
Mhm.
just going to fit into like, just naturally into musical theater or whatever. It
Mhm.
just sounded more classical.
Mhm.
Um, and so that's kind of the light bulb that came on. And I said, okay, let's do this
Mhm.
because I love to perform. I like characterizations. I like costumes. I like,
Yes.
all of this. So
Yes.
how am I going to make this work? And yeah,
Mhm.
that's how that happened.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. I didn't know that. Started off as a
Yeah.
dancer.
Yeah.
Let we could put this as the last question for the question and answer. If you had to give the students one piece of advice while they're in school, these two young ladies are juniors in school. What would that be? One piece of advice to if they decide to go forward in this singing career. What is
Right.
the one piece of advice you would give them?
I would say to be very diligent and about your studying, right? Just to keep being on top of your craft, not to ever just do just enough, right? To pass your whatever exam or recital or whatever it is that you're doing, go further. Keep going further with it, be very intentional with it. And I would say even begin your networking, even though you may not have business sort of networking, but anybody that you can speak to within the music field that can feed you information, that can help to encourage you and enlighten you. Make sure you're putting yourself in front of that. And also look for your local community, in your environment, ways to sing, because the more you sing, the more you work on your craft. And the more you will get rid of those stage fright things, or you'll learn more about interacting with people. So find every opportunity you can to use your craft.
Yeah, great. That's a great question. That's a great way to end. All right, if we can bring Dr. Devine on from Alabama A&N and get a few words from her.
I muted. Okay. Hi. I'm sorry.
Hello. Hi.
Thank you all so much for this. I do have one question. I have one student who's a tenor, an excellent tenor, who had a question. Could he email Miss Daltirus or?
Oh, is he here? If he wants to, he can post his question right now. Yes.
Well, to post it if you want him to ask. He's sitting right here. He said he can post it. Okay, he'll post it.
Oh, he can post. Okay, so he'll post his question.
She said post it, so just go ahead and post it. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you so much for doing this for our students. We are grateful to CAAPA as well. As I've told Miss Simpson, when I was doing my doctorate, I worked with CAAPA. I sang for CAAPA. I sang CAAPA extended a lot of opportunities to me. So
that's
I'm
wonderful.
Very, very grateful to be able to extend this to our students. So thank you both very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. And if that he's going to post this question now, or he's going to wait till later?
He just did.
He already did on. He did it on Facebook.
You did it on Facebook? Yes.
Okay. Let me get his question. Okay, here we go. Great. A lot of what you were telling these great singers had to do with adding intention and color to. Oh, we lost her.
No, I'm here. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh,
okay.
There you go. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't touch any buttons. So
no, sometimes that happens. Okay, here's the question. A lot of what you were telling these great singers had to do with adding intention and color to the music. When learning music, at what point should singers begin to intentionally add color to the music? Do you practice your color from the beginning, or sometime after you've mastered the notes and rhythm?
Well, I would say do the technical work first, right? Because you want to make sure you know everything exactly and the way it should be, right? So I would, for me, that's what I would do. So you would do that first. But also part of your work of doing the translation, literal, word by word. Don't just take if for any reason they have something poetically written underneath the Italian. Do a literal translation so you really know the words. As you could see, I was asking them many words, like what does it mean, right? So within that, I believe that will begin to inform the way you would say it.
Right.
Because if you really understand what they're saying and you really get the intention, then as you've learned it and now you're really singing it, and then you're really getting it into your system and you're really expressing it, it will begin to marry that you really understand what you're saying and what you're communicating.
Yeah, great, great. All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Gwyn Daltirus, for joining us. So this concludes our CAAPA's virtual masterclass with Alabama A&M University. I hope everyone enjoyed the performances as well as took away some valuable information from Ms. Gwyn Daltirus. CAAPA would like to thank the AAMU Music Department Chair, Horace Carney, Dr. Shonda Devine, our accompanist, Mr. Brandon Miska, Ms. Tabitha Moore, Ms. Davonna Wells, and finally, Ms. Lisa Gwyn Daltirus. Thank you for joining us for this week's virtual masterclass. Please mark your calendars for our next masterclass on May 5th. If you are interested in having the CAAPA Virtual Masterclass series partner with your institution, please stay and watch our exit video, which will have our contact information. Thank you everyone for joining us. We at CAAPA wish you a great day and God bless.